During the webinar today, you will be asked to type responses or give explanations or find an answer for a question or whatever, and I'll be asking you to type those responses. The way you're going to do that is, again, if you already have your cursor as the arrow, that means that the select button has been activated. What we want to do is we want to be able to type a message to me and to other people in the webinar, and we want to be able to edit it and so forth like we do in Word. This is not quite as powerful as Word, but what we're going to do to begin is we're going to move our cursor to the text box right here. Don't choose the one that doesn't have the line segments. This one, you want this one right here, so you can modify it or change it or whatever you want to do. So to activate it, you left click when the cursor is on top of the A with the little paragraph sign there. Click it and then drag your cursor out. Notice that that icon stays with it, and there's a little cross on the upper left hand side. Left click and you can make the box as big as you want by just moving this around. So I'm just going to make it like this for right now. And notice when I let go, when I bring it out, that box stays there, and you have a flashing cursor inside the box, which means you're ready to type. But before we start to type, just let me point out a few other things. Suppose that you don't like the size of the area that you can write in. You can change it. Couple ways to change it. Notice that if I move this right here, and this right now I'm ready to type when the cursor is like this. If I move it on top of the line right here, you can see that it changes to two intersecting lines. When I have that and I can left click, I can move this anywhere I want on the screen. If, however, I go to one of these vertices, I can see different arrows or different line segments, lifted lines appear if I go right on the line itself. If I do that, I can change the size of the text box. And the way I do that is I carefully position this, let's say right there on the bottom one. I left click once I see the vertical line, left click it, and I can make the box larger. If I wanted to do both at one time in proportion, I bring over my cross. Notice the cross is inside because I'm inside the box. If I go outside, it changes to the cursor. I want to bring it down right to the vertex down at the bottom. Notice I have a diagonal segment this time, or a diagonal line. That means I can move both of the width and the length of the box at the same time. If I go to the one in the middle, that means I can move it left or right. So I can change it. If I have a horizontal one, I can move it left or right. If I have a vertical one, I can move it up or down. If I have it in either corner, either one of the four corners, and I have diagonal, I can move it any way I want. And again, if I go on the line, I get the cross, and that means I can move it anywhere I want. Now, once I have that, if I double click when I have the little intersecting lines, if I double click, I change it to a cursor where I can type. So I'm going to type a message to you. Math is fun. Okay. Now, it doesn't have a feature at the moment where you can center it like you could on Word or something like that. You can just leave it as math is fun. Many times you want to just have that appear. So again, you can either move it or you can highlight your box and you can change it. So you can move it up, move it over, and so it just closes the box like that. Anyway, I'm going to resize it so I can put some more words in there. And math is fun. Thanks for, whoops, now notice I made a mistake there. So I just go back like I would with Word. Thanks for attending this webinar. Alright. So now I have two messages. What I can do now is I, again, come up and I can see my message like that. Notice if I make my box a little smaller, I don't see the other part. But I do, however, have that choice where on the right hand side there I see a segment there where I can move it just like I could the selection bar anywhere I want. So if you don't see it and you see this selection on the right, just highlight it with your cross there and move it down, and you can see that it has justified it by wrapping the text because the box is no longer big enough for the whole line. If I wanted to make the box big enough for the whole line, I can just move it like I did before, and I can double click and move it over. Now you can see it on one line, but you can still not see the whole thing. You want to see the whole thing, you're going to take your arrow and you're going to move it down, and now you can see the whole thing. Okay, so let's just review. In order to answer the questions, what you want to be able to do is generate a text box. But before we review, I think I need to show you one more thing. Take your cursor and outline it on the outside, like so we can highlight the entire thing. If I press the right cursor button, that means that I get all these choices over here. Right now, some of these won't mean too much to you, but the big ones are cut, copy, and paste. If I cut the object, it gets rid of it. If I press the right mouse, I can paste it back, and it comes back. So I can move it around again. If I wanted to, while it's on there, I can right-click, go to copy, left-click, and now I right-click, and I can paste, and now I have copied it. Again, I can highlight both of them and move both of them around. I can highlight one of them and just right click and I can cut it. So really you can also edit this. I can go back in and double click inside, get my word cursor. I can highlight that and press delete, and now I'm back to just math is fun. I can change my box size by going to my vertical or horizontal or diagonal segments in the vertices, and let's just get rid of that and we can cut it out. So let's review. To make a text, you must highlight the text with the it says enter text on screen, and you'll see the cursor, and I'm moving it any size I want. I immediately get the cursor. I can say constructed student responses. Now you notice I made a typo. I just go back with my back cursor key, and I can press my delete button. Whoops, I did the wrong release button, and I can go student constructed responses. Okay, and again, if I want to change the size of the box, I have to put my cursor inside, put it on the line, move it over until you see the vertical line segment, move it up, move it over to the right, or again, you can make it bigger by moving it like that. So you'll be asked to construct different responses during the webinar today, and now you are experts. You can get rid of them by again putting your cursor and right click, and you just cut them out, and it's gone.